Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. A late-night hit-and-run leaves a BPD officer injured, and this morning police are asking for help finding the driver.
Governor Gavin Newsom weighs in on racing at Santa Anita after a 29th horse death. What he's asking track owners to do.
As we swelter in the middle of this recent hot streak, we're asking you to help keep Kern County cool, how you can assist local seniors and veterans who can't afford AC. This is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019. Good morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Mary Kate Paquette and a new addition to 17 News at Sunrise.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here with you guys, and I'm looking forward to, getting to know the community a little better.
Yeah, this is Vanessa Dillon, and she will be joining the 17 News weekend team, and then she will also be joining the Sunrise team for a couple of days during the week.
Yep. Thank you for that introduction, guys.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you join the
team.
From Orange County, right?
Yes, Orange County, and it's still pretty warm out there, too, so I will definitely, a lot of people have been telling me get ready for the heat, but I don't think it'll be too bad.
No.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, at least she's got a good attitude about it.
Today, however, is all about the heat, and we're talking about how you can help local seniors and veterans stay cool during this extreme heat. It's the Keep Kern County Cool Fan Drive. Let's send it over to Kevin. He's kicking things off across the street from the studios.
Good morning, Maddie. Good morning, Mary Kitten. Good morning to Vanessa. And yeah, that has been the talk about so far this morning. Brenda Ratliff come over and she said, hey, is it going to be another hot day? And the answer to that is yes. And that's why these fans are very important this time of year. We start to heat up in June and July, and there are a lot of folks out there that can't run an AC. And so the only thing they have is a fan. And that's why we're asking everybody to come out and support our Keep Kern County Cool Fan Drive today across from our studios. We're going to be out here all day long, and we're asking you to bring down a new or gently used fan. And again, today is not a day to come down and pick up a fan. You can come down and fill out an application, and then they'll be handing them out at a further date. But today is all about dropping a fan off for somebody who would really need it in our community. Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about the heat, because it's going to continue again today. Yesterday, our high, yes, 105 degrees. And we're going to be looking at things to be about the same for today. As we take a look at the temperature right now, 78 degrees. The sun is slowly coming up. A few high clouds around the area. No winds currently. And as we take a look at the temperature graph, and you can see by this afternoon, we're going to be right around 104, 105. And then for the mountains, we're at 55 right now. No winds to talk about up near Tehachapi. And throughout the day, warming you up as well. We're going to be right near 79 by 9 a.m. and then upper 80s and the lower 90s by this afternoon.
All right, Kev, thank you so much. And the heat is on, and when the mercury really starts to rise, there are a few ways to keep cool without blasting the AC. One thing you can do is swing by one of Bakersfield's spray parks to cool down. They're open daily from 1 to 6 p.m., and we've posted a list of all the cooling centers and spray parks around town. You can find those on our website, kget.com. New this morning, Bakersfield police are searching for a car involved in a hit and run that sent an officer to the hospital. It happened just before 11 o'clock last night at the intersection of East Brundage Lane and Cottonwood Road. BPD says an officer was driving a marked patrol car when a driver blew through a red light, hit his car, then sped off. Paramedics took the officer to the hospital with minor to moderate injuries. No word on how he's doing this morning. BPD is looking for a black Chevy SUV with California license plate number 7VVM737. The car was last seen headed north on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
A Caliente man found guilty of killing his friend during an argument will soon know how long he'll spend behind bars. In April, jurors found Daniel Rhodes guilty of second-degree murder. Rhodes shot William Alford last October and admitted to putting his body in a trash can. Court documents say Rhodes claimed Alford forced his way into his home, demanded items of value, and threatened him. Police still have not found Alford's body. Rhodes faces 40 years to life for the murder. He's due in court for sentencing this morning.
In a high-profile attack we're following out of the Dominican Republic, police have charged a man in connection with the shooting that put retired Boston Red Sox slugger David Ortiz in the hospital. He was shot at a bar in his hometown of Santo Domingo Sunday night. The accused gunman was a passenger on a motorcycle. He got off the bike, walked up to Ortiz, and fired a single shot before taking off. He is still on the run, but bystanders captured the man driving the bike. Police charged him as an accomplice to the attempted murder. Ortiz underwent surgery in Santo Domingo before being flown to Boston for further treatment and is currently recovering in intensive care.
Governor Gavin Newsom is calling for races at a Southern California track to come to a temporary halt after nearly 36 horse deaths there this season. As we've reported, 2 more horses died at Santa Anita over the weekend. That brings the total number of deaths to 29 since December. The governor issued a statement which reads in part, quote, "I continue to be troubled by the horse deaths at Santa Anita Park. Enough is enough. I'm calling on the California Horse Racing Board to ensure that no horse races until they are examined by independent veterinarians and found fit to compete."
It appears the Kern County weed wars will continue. Yesterday, supervisors were set to review how dispensaries are complying with a medicinal cannabis ban that went into effect 2 years ago, but just started being enforced last month. They were also supposed to hear about a ballot measure from Central Valley Cannabis that has qualified for the 2020 ballot. Dozens of protesters gathered to call on supervisors to end the countywide ban on the sale of medicinal marijuana.
They keep on banning and they keep on doing these things that are against the people's will.
But the board has to put off the discussion for another week because Supervisor Mike Maggard was suddenly called for jury duty.
Because we have an issue where Supervisor Perez also recuses herself from any of the cannabis discussions, we now only have 3 of our 5 board members hearing the issue. And if there were a position that they wanted to take that required 4/5, they wouldn't have had enough people. So it's best to wait.
The next meeting on this topic is scheduled for next week.
5:07 now. The city's looking to build a new park in a southeast Bakersfield neighborhood and wants your input on the project. City leaders are applying for a grant to build the park just west of Union Avenue between Pacheco Road and Panama Lane. They want community members to share their thoughts on what kind of amenities should be at the park. The grant's due in August, and the city will find out if it's been awarded the money early next year. So it's holding meetings to hear from the community. The final is happening at 10 a.m. today at 6800 Brahma Street.
The Centennial Corridor project that will connect Highway 58 to the 99 and Westside Parkway is about to enter its final phase. The city of Bakersfield plans to break ground on the 4th and final stage of the project this morning. This final phase of the project will build the freeway connector as well as access ramps to routes 58 and 99. The city recently received a $50 million grant from the federal government, so the city won't have to borrow money to finish the project. It's expected to be done by 2022.
SpaceX is getting ready for liftoff. The company plans to launch its Falcon 9 rocket from Vandenberg Air Force Base this morning. It will be carrying the Radar-Sat constellation mission for Space Complex Launch 4. The Radar-Sat is a Canadian remote sensing Earth observation satellite overseen by the Canadian Space Agency. The launch window opens in just a few hours at 7:17. If the rocket is not able to launch today, there's another window set for tomorrow morning. So we'll see if we can see it this morning when it launches. 7:17.
Pretty cool here. Welcome back. You know their work, but if they pass you on the street, you may not recognize them.
This morning, 17th Tabitha Mills continues her series honoring some of the people whose work has shaped our community for the past 40 years.
This morning, we honor graphic designer Mike Willis, whose work we've seen every day for the past 4 decades, as he's created iconic images of our community.
You know, pretty much everything that you see around you has probably been touched at some point or another by some kind of graphic designer.
And chances are, in Kern County, the work you see around you was produced by Mike Willis.
It's a huge field. People just think of like logos and web design, but it's not. It's way more than that. Tattoo artists now are making $130 an hour. I mean, that's graphic design. And so is the guy that, you know, is making $300,000 or $400,000 a year working for Disney. You know, that's graphic design.
A self-proclaimed hippie, Willis didn't care much for school.
And I took every art class there was, journalism, photography, graphic design, the yearbook. And I would go to summer school and take all the hard classes like algebra, geometry, biology. I would take all those in the summer, and then so I could take all electives in the school year.
He knew he wanted to be an artist. He just wasn't sure how to get there.
I went to BC, and they had some graphic design classes up there, and so I did the same thing. I took all art classes up at BC. I had no intention of getting a degree. I just wanted to take art classes.
Portfolio in hand, he tried to get a job with local graphic designers, but he wasn't successful.
I said, okay, well, I guess I'll just start my own business.
A good move at the time, as 40 years later, Willis is still designing, the creator of many iconic images we know around town.
When you really look at his body of work and everything that he's done, it's really a history of our community. You start looking at the old work and it just shows like a timeline of our community and how we've changed and how we've grown.
But if you ask him, he humbly says he's nothing special. It was just a matter of...
I was at the right place at the right time.
It cost a few $100s to start up when Willis began designing.
Design wasn't really even highly regarded. Nobody really cared about designing anything. Everything was just whatever, that works,
How the times have changed. Now it's tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, to buy the equipment necessary to start a graphic design company. But one thing that has never changed in the last 4 decades, how Willis treats his customers.
I like to help everybody. That's why I think we found our niche. For the time being, we've become their team member, part of their crew.
Creating the image, if you will, of our community. Tomorrow on 17 News at Sunrise, I'll introduce you to a longtime KGET employee whose voice you've heard for 40 plus years.
Welcome back. A group of state attorneys filed a federal lawsuit today to block T-Mobile's bid for Sprint, citing consumer harm. California State Attorney General Javier Becerra, along with 9 other attorney generals, filed a lawsuit to stop the proposed merger of T-Mobile and Sprint. Telecom giant T-Mobile has made a $26.5 billion bid for Sprint. The complaint claims the merger of the 2 of the 4 largest national mobile network operators would deprive consumers of the benefits of competition. It also alleges the merger would drive up prices for cell phone services. Prospective job seekers in Delano have a shot at landing employment tomorrow. Job Fest is happening at Cesar Chavez High School on Browning Road. Attendees are encouraged to come with at least 50 copies of their resume.